Imagine waking up before dawn, the roar of artillery shaking the ground beneath you, and the cold, wet mud of a foreign battlefield clinging to everything you own. Every step could be your last, every decision a matter of life or death. That was the reality for an American soldier in World War II. Endless marches, constant fear, and the weight of history pressing down on young shoulders. Glory existed, yes, but it was buried beneath exhaustion, danger, and the haunting uncertainty of survival. If you like drifting into the human side of history, a like or subscribe would be amazing. And drop a comment with where you're listening from. It's incredible seeing people from all over the world connect over the same story of courage and chaos. All right, tonight we're stepping into the boots of an American soldier in World War II to see what it really took to survive. So, get comfortable, breathe slow, and let's travel back to a time when every day could be your last.
Congratulations, you just woke up in eastern France. It's January 1945 and you're absolutely freezing. Not the kind of cold where you grab another blanket. I mean, bone deep, can't feel your toes, frozen eyelashes, cold. The first thing you notice is that you're sleeping on frozen ground. Not a mattress, not a cot, just dirt that's so frozen it might as well be concrete. You've got a single wool blanket that's stiff with ice around the edges, and it's dusted with the layer of fresh snow that fell while you managed those precious few minutes of sleep. You're wearing the same clothes you've had on for nearly 2 weeks now. Wool socks that haven't been dry since Christmas. Army-issue boots that are starting to separate at the seams. Layers of olive drab that smell like a mixture of sweat, dirt, and the slightly metallic scent of fear. There's a steel helmet beside you, and it's so cold that touching the metal with bare skin would be a mistake. The air smells like pine trees, gunpowder, and something else. Something vaguely sweet and horrible that you've sadly gotten used to. The smell of death. When you sit up, every muscle in your body screams in protest. Your back has been compressed against that frozen ground. Your joints stiff from the cold. Nearby you can hear the sounds of other men stirring in their foxholes. Someone coughs. Someone else mutters a curse. Someone prays. This is the Kulmar Pocket, one of the last German strongholds in France. And you, my friend, are a soldier in Company B of the 15th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division of the United States Army. Just a few days ago, your company had over 100 men. Now you're down to about 40. You've been fighting almost non-stop since landing in Italy nearly 2 years ago. The good news? You're still alive, which is better than a lot of guys can say. The bad news, the Germans are about to launch a massive counterattack, and you're right in their path. Look to your left, see that skinny kid checking his M1 carbine, that second lieutenant, Audi Murphy. He looks like he should still be in high school, doesn't he? Just 19 years old, barely 5 feet 5 inches, maybe 110 pounds, soaking wet. You'd never guess it, but he's already the most decorated soldier in your company with a Distinguished Service Cross, 2 silver stars and 2 bronze stars. The guys call him Baby because of his boyish face, but nobody makes that joke to his face anymore. Not after they saw what he did at Anzio, single-handedly taking out a German machine gun nest. Or in France, when he killed 2 snipers and another machine gun position all by himself. The guy's either incredibly brave or has a serious death wish. Maybe both. Hey. He nods to you, his breath visible in the freezing air. Get some coffee if there's any left. Going to be a long day. You crawl out of your foxhole, your boots crunching on the snow. The forest around you is beautiful in a stark, deadly way. Tall pine trees, their branches heavy with snow, morning mist hanging between the trunks. In the distance you can see the village of Haltz, via about a mile away across open fields, German-held territory. The position you're holding isn't great. Your company is at the edge of a wood shaped like a U with open fields in front of you. There's a narrow road that leads from the woods to the village. The ground is so frozen that digging proper foxholes has been nearly impossible. Most guys have only managed to scrape out shallow depressions just enough to get their bodies below ground level. You find your way to what passes for a mess area. It's just a slightly wider part of the forest where some poor cook is trying to heat coffee over a tiny stove that gives off almost no heat. The coffee when you get it is barely warm and tastes like mud. But it's coffee, and the caffeine might keep you alert enough to stay alive. "Germans are moving," says a sergeant, his face weathered and lined beyond his years. Scouts spotted activity in the village. Could be nothing, could be something. You take a sip of the terrible coffee and feel it hit your empty stomach. When was the last time you ate a real meal? You can't remember. The rations you've been living on are better than nothing, but they're not exactly home cooking. A small can of processed meat, some biscuits hard enough to break teeth, a chocolate bar that's frozen solid, and a few cigarettes. Breakfast of champions. The sun is starting to rise, casting long shadows through the trees. You hear the distant rumble of artillery, so constant that it's become like background noise. Your hands shake slightly, though whether from cold or fear you're not sure anymore. Lieutenant Murphy is moving among the men, checking positions, offering words of encouragement. Despite his size and age, there's something about him that inspires confidence. Maybe it's the calm way he speaks, or the fact that he's survived so much already. When he looks at you, his eyes are older than his face. "Keep your head down today," he tells you. "Something feels off." Back at your foxhole, you check your gear. Your Montgarand rifle is your most valuable possession. 8 rounds in the clip, the metal cold against your gloved hands. You have several more clips in your ammunition pouches. Your canteen is half full of water that's partially frozen. You have a first aid packet, a bayonet, and a few grenades. Not much to stake your life on, but it's all you've got. Around 200 PM, everything changes. First, there's the sound. A rumbling that's different from artillery. It's mechanical, rhythmic, getting louder. Tank engines. "They're coming," someone shouts, and suddenly everyone is alert. Weapons ready. From the village of Haltz, emerging from the mist, you see them. 6 German tanks, massive metal beasts crawling across the snow-covered field toward your position. Behind them, moving in the skirmish order, are German infantry. Not just a few, hundreds of them. Someone near you whispers, "Jesus Christ." The odds are impossible. 40 of you against hundreds of them, plus tanks. Your company has nothing that can stop a German Panther tank. Nothing except the 2 M10 tank destroyers that have been supporting you. One is positioned on the road leading to the village, the other about 40 yards ahead toward Holt. Lieutenant Murphy is on the radio calling for artillery support. His voice is steady, but you can see the tension in his shoulders. This is bad. Really bad. The German artillery opens up and the world becomes noise and chaos. Shells explode among the trees, sending splinters and shrapnel flying in all directions. You press yourself into your shallow foxhole, trying to become one with the frozen earth. When you dare to look up, You see one of your M10 tank destroyers get hit. There's a flash, an explosion, and the commander and gunner are just gone. The surviving crew abandons the burning vehicle and runs for the trees. The second M10 is firing continuously, trying to slow the German advance, but its shells are bouncing off the frontal armour of the Panthers. Then it tries to back up into the tree line for better cover, slides off the road and gets stuck in a drainage ditch, its gun now useless. Lieutenant Murphy is shouting orders. Fall back to the secondary position. Move. You know what this means? Your current position is untenable. There's a stronger defensive line prepared a few hundred meters deeper in the woods, but someone has to cover the withdrawal. Murphy speaks into his field telephone, calling in artillery coordinates. He's standing fully exposed, directing fire on the advancing Germans. You think he must be insane, but you're also grateful that someone is keeping the Germans busy while you retreat. As you move back through the trees, staying low, you look over your shoulder. What you see stops you in your tracks. Murphy is still there, alone now. The rest of the company is retreating. The M10 tank destroyer is burning, billowing black smoke, and Murphy climbs on top of it. He's taken position behind the .50 caliber machine gun mounted on the burning tank destroyer. German bullets and artillery are impacting all around him. The tank could explode at any moment, but there he is firing the heavy machine gun at the advancing German infantry, cutting them down in swaths. You can't hear what he's saying over the din of battle, but later you'll learn that when the artillery coordinator asked how close the Germans were, Murphy responded, "Just hold the phone and I'll let you talk to one of the bastards for an hour." Murphy stays on that burning tank destroyer, firing the .50 caliber, calling in artillery strikes, holding off hundreds of German troops by himself. You watch from the tree-line as the Germans try to flank him as tank rounds explode near him, as the M10 is repeatedly hit and engulfed in smoke. Twice you're certain he's been killed. Twice he emerges from the smoke still firing. The ground around the tank destroyer becomes littered with German dead. The attack falters, stalls, and finally begins to recede. Only then does Murphy climb down from the burning vehicle and walk back toward the American lines. He's limping from a leg wound, but he refuses evacuation. Instead, he organizes a counterattack, leading what's left of company back to reclaim the original position. The Germans retreat all the way back to Holtz. Later, you'll learn that Murphy killed or wounded approximately 50 German soldiers by himself. He stopped an attack by 6 tanks and 250 infantry. He saved what remained of Company B from certain destruction. As darkness falls, you're back in your foxhole at the edge of the woods. The temperature is dropping again. Your hands are numb. Your feet blocks of ice. You're exhausted beyond belief, but somehow still alive. Murphy moves among the men, checking on everyone, making sure the wounded are being treated. When he passes your position, you notice that despite everything, his hands are steady. Get some rest, he tells you. They'll be back tomorrow. You settle deeper into your foxhole, pulling your frozen blanket around you. The stars are coming out, brilliant pinpoints in the clear winter sky. You think about home, about warm beds and hot meals, about streets where no one is trying to kill you. You shift slightly, finding that small spot where the ground isn't quite as harsh beneath your hip. The cold seeps through your layers, but somehow your eyelids grow heavy. Your breathing slows and you feel your muscles relaxing one by one. In the distance, you can still hear the occasional sound of artillery, but here in this moment, there's a strange kind of peace. You're still alive, your unit held. Tomorrow will bring what it brings. You yawn quietly, feeling your jaw crack from the cold. Your fingers finally start to warm up inside your gloves as you tuck them against your chest. The weight of your helmet on the ground beside you is oddly comforting. A small piece of protection in this dangerous world. You take another slow, deep breath, watching it cloud in the freezing air and settle in for another night in the frozen forests of France, where the snow continues to fall gently through the pine branches above. Morning comes too soon in the frozen forest, not with the gentle transition of sunlight through curtains, but with the harsh voice of a sergeant kicking the bottom of your foxhole. Up and at 'em, soldier. Germans didn't go home just 'cause you're tired. Your body feels like it's made of lead and broken glass. Every joint aches from the cold. Your back is one solid knot of pain from sleeping on frozen ground. Your mouth tastes like you've been chewing on pennies. The temperature dropped even further overnight. They say it's the coldest winter in Europe in decades. You believe it. Ice has formed on the inside of your helmet where your breath froze. Your canteen is now a solid block of ice. Even your shoelaces are stiff and uncooperative as you try to tighten your boots. Around you, the other men of Company B are going through the same morning ritual, groaning as they stretch frozen limbs, cursing as they discover which parts of their equipment have frozen overnight, trying to light cigarettes with numb fingers. "Hey, pass the matches," says the guy in the next foxhole over. He's new, a replacement who arrived just 3 days ago. Jenkins or Johnson or something. They come and go so fast nowadays that you barely bother learning names. Mine are wet. You toss him your matchbook. He's young, maybe 18, with a round face that still has baby fat. Poor kid looks like he should be delivering newspapers, not fighting Nazis. He'll either toughen up quick or he'll die. There's not much middle ground out here. The sound of artillery starts up again in the distance. German 80s probably. The distinctive crump has become as familiar as your own heartbeat. You've learned to tell the difference between outgoing and incoming. These are outgoing German shells headed somewhere else. Small mercies. Breakfast, such as it is, comes in the form of more K-rations. The waxed cardboard box contains a small tin of powdered eggs that you mix with a little water to form a pale yellow paste. There's also a couple of rock-hard biscuits, a small chocolate bar that's frozen solid, and more of that awful instant coffee gourmet dining army style. You eat mechanically, not because it tastes good, but because you need the calories. The cold burns energy faster than summer combat. Just staying warm is a battle in itself. Lieutenant Murphy appears, walking the line and checking positions. There's a bandage visible under his pant leg where he was wounded yesterday, but he moves without any obvious pain. His face is gaunt, cheekbones sharp under skin that's weathered beyond his years. He nods to you as he passes. "Any movement from the village?" he asks. "Nothing yet, sir," you reply. "All quiet since dawn." He grunts acknowledgement. "They took a beating yesterday, but they'll be back. Keep your eyes open." You watch him move on, speaking briefly with each man. He looks tired. Hell, everyone looks tired. But there's a quiet competence about him that inspires confidence. You've seen officers who lead from far behind the lines, who treat enlisted men like disposable game pieces. Murphy isn't like that. He's right here in the dirt with you. The morning passes slowly, the mind-numbing boredom of the war. Hurry up and wait. Hours of nothing punctuated by moments of sheer terror. You spend the time cleaning your rifle, The M1 Garand is a solid piece of engineering, but it needs care, especially in these conditions. You field strip it, wiping down each part with an oily rag to prevent rust. The 8-round clip system is a vast improvement over the old bolt-action Springfield from the last war. Your dad served in France in 1918 carrying one of those. He rarely talked about it. Around noon, a jeep arrives with mail and supplies. Letters from home are worth more than gold out here. You get 2, one from your mum and one from your girl back in Ohio. You save them, tucking them inside your jacket. Letters are best read in private, where no one can see if they make you cry. There are also fresh socks, which might as well be Christmas presents. Nothing matters more in winter combat than keeping your feet dry. Trench shoot has taken more men out of action than German bullets. You change your socks immediately, massaging feeling back into your toes. They're pale and wrinkled, but not black yet. No frostbite. Another small mercy. "Hey," says the kid who borrowed your matches. "His name is Jenkins. You've confirmed." "Is it true what they're saying about Lieutenant Murphy? That he took on a whole company of Germans by himself yesterday?" You nod, tucking the damp socks inside your shirt to dry them with body heat. Saw it myself. Climbed up on a burning tank destroyer and manned the 50 caliber. Held off the entire German attack for an hour. Jenkins whistles. They'll give him a medal for that, won't they? Probably if we live long enough for the brass to hear about it. It's not that you're trying to scare the kid, but out here hope is a dangerous thing. Better to expect the worst and be pleasantly surprised than the other way around. After lunch, more creations, this time featuring a tin of processed meat product that might generously be called ham. You're assigned to a patrol. 6 men led by a staff sergeant named Barlow, tasked with checking the area to the north of your position for any sign of German movement. Moving through the snow-covered forest requires a specific kind of attention. Step carefully, listen constantly, watch for tracks, broken branches, cigarette butts, anything that might indicate enemy presence. The winter landscape plays tricks on your eyes. Every shadow could be a German soldier. Every rustle could be someone taking aim at you. The patrol lasts 3 hours and reveals nothing except how exhausted you all are. By the time you return to the company position, your legs feel like rubber and your lungs burn from the cold air. Lieutenant Murphy is meeting with the company's remaining officers when you get back. Their faces are serious and they're studying a map spread out on the hood of a jeep. Something's happening. Word filters down through the ranks. The Germans are pulling back from the Khmer pocket. Intelligence suggests they're redeploying forces to the east to counter the Russian advance. Your regiment is ordered to push forward tomorrow to maintain pressure and prevent any organised retreat. That night, you eat your dinner KR ration, sitting on the edge of your foxhole watching the sunset paint the snow-covered landscape in shades of pink and gold. It would be beautiful if it weren't a battlefield. Jenkins sits nearby, writing a letter home by the last of the daylight. "What do you tell them?" you ask. "Your folks, I mean." He shrugs. "That I'm fine, that it's not so bad, that the food's good, and I'm making friends." He folds the paper carefully. "What else can you say? They'd just worry more if they knew the truth." You nod. Your own letters home are filled with the same gentle lies. No point in telling them about the constant fear, the cold that never leaves your bones, the men who disappear in explosions of red mist, there 1 second and gone the next. "How do you end up here anyway?" Jenkins asks. "You volunteer or get drafted?" Volunteered. December 41, right after Pearl Harbor. Seemed like the right thing to do. You chew on a piece of hard candy from your ration kit. You drafted August last year, hadn't even finished high school. You're about to respond when a whistle cuts through the air, followed by the unmistakable sound of an incoming artillery shell. Your body reacts before your mind, diving into the foxhole. Jenkins follows a split second later, landing on top of you as the world explodes. The German barrage lasts 20 minutes. 20 minutes of hell with the earth shaking and trees shattering and men screaming. All you can do is press yourself into the dirt at the bottom of your foxhole and pray that the next shell doesn't have your name on it. When it finally stops, the silence is almost as shocking as the noise was. Your ears ring. Dirt and pine needles have somehow gotten inside your clothes, your mouth everywhere. You spit and blink trying to clear your senses. You okay? You ask Jenkins, who's still half on top of you. He nods, his face pale in the growing darkness. Yeah, I think so. Slowly, carefully, you both peek over the edge of the foxhole. The forest has been transformed. Where there were once tall pines, there are now splintered stumps. Craters pockmark the snow. The air smells of cordite and burning wood. Voices call out in the gloom. Officers and NCOs is checking on their men. You hear Murphy's voice somewhere to your left, calm and steady. Medic. We need a medic here. The cry comes from nearby. You and Jenkins scramble out of your foxhole and move toward the sound. In the adjacent position, 2 men are bent over a third. Even in the fading light, you can see that the ground around them is dark with blood. It's Barlow, the sergeant who led your patrol earlier. He's been hit with shrapnel, a jagged piece of metal protruding from his thigh. His face is grey with shock and pain. The medic arrives, pushing past you with his bag of supplies. Give me some space, fellas, and someone find me a godamn light. No wine. You pull out your Zippo and flick it on, holding it steady so the medic can see. He cuts away Barlow's pant leg, revealing a wound that makes your stomach turn. The sergeant grits his teeth, refusing to cry out, even as the medic probes the injury. "You're going to be okay, Sarge," the medic says, working quickly to clean and bandage the wound. "This is your ticket home." Barlow shakes his head weakly. "Can't leave my boys. Not your choice, I'm afraid. This needs surgery." 2 men arrive with a stretcher, and they carefully load Barlow onto it. He reaches out and grabs your arm as they lift him. "Keep an eye on the new kid," he says, nodding toward Jenkins. "He's greener than grass." You nod. "Will do, Sarge. See you stateside." But you both know it's unlikely you'll ever see each other again. That's just how it is out here. People come and go, mostly go. You don't dwell on it. The night grows darker and colder. The scattered clouds that provided the day's light snow have cleared, revealing a vast canopy of stars. The beauty of it strikes you as almost obscene given the carnage on the ground. Lieutenant Murphy calls a meeting of the NCOS and a few experienced privates, including you. The German artillery barrage was likely a prelude to another attack, he explains. The enemy knows you're pushing forward tomorrow and wants to disrupt your preparations. Double the watch tonight, he orders. 2 men per position, 4-hour shifts. I want eyes on that village all night long. You're assigned the midnight to 4 a.m. watch with Jenkins. When the time comes, you settle into your foxhole together, rifle across your knees, eyes straining to pierce the darkness. The temperature has plummeted, and your breath forms small clouds in front of your face. "How do you stand it?" Jenkins whispers, after about an hour of silence. The waiting, knowing they're out there might be watching us right now. You consider the question. You just do. You focus on the next minute, the next hour. Don't think too far ahead. I'm scared. He admits all the time. Everyone is. Only liars and crazy people say they aren't afraid out here. The conversation drops off after that. The cold makes talking an effort, and anyway, you need to listen more than you need to chat. The night is alive with small sounds. The creak of frozen branches, the distant rumble of vehicles, the occasional pop of a flare illuminating the no man's land between your position and the village. Around 3 a.m. you spot movement at the edge of the woods. You tense, raising your rifle, but it's just a deer, a small doe, picking her way delicately through the snow. She freezes when she senses you, her large eyes reflecting the starlight. For a long moment, you stare at each other, two living things in a landscape of death. Then she turns and bounds away, whitetail flashing in the darkness. When your watch ends, you wake the next shift and crawl back into your sleeping position. Despite the cold and discomfort, exhaustion claims you quickly. Your dreams are a jumbled mess of home and war, faces of friends both living and dead, the sound of your mother's voice mixed with the whistle of falling artillery. Dawn arrives with a thin grey light that does little to warm the frozen landscape. But there's a change in the air, a sense of anticipation. Today you move forward. Today you take the fight to the enemy. As you prepare your gear for the advance, Lieutenant Murphy passes by your position. He looks even more tired than yesterday, if that's possible, but his eyes are clear and focused. "Ready?" he asks simply. You nod, securing your helmet strap. "Ready, sir." He clasps your shoulder briefly, the weight of his hand solid and reassuring through your layers of clothing. We push to the village, clear any resistance, and keep going. 1 foot in front of the other. That's how we win this thing. The company forms up along the edge of the woods, facing the open field that leads to Haltzera. The morning fog is lifting, revealing the scars from yesterday's battle. The burned-out tank destroyer, the dark forms of fallen German soldiers still lying in the snow, the churned earth from artillery impacts. You check your rifle one last time, making sure a round is chambered. Beside you, Jenkins is doing the same, his movements mechanical, face set in a mask of determination. He catches your eye and gives a small nod. He's terrified, but he'll move forward anyway. That's courage right there. The signal comes down the line. It's time. You take a deep breath of the cold air, feeling it fill your lungs. Your heart is pounding, but your hands are steady. You've done this before. You'll do it again, 1 foot in front of the other. Like Murphy said, as you step out from the tree-line into the open field, the rising sun breaks through the clouds, illuminating the snow in a dazzling display of light. For just a moment, it's breathtakingly beautiful. Then you're moving forward, boots crunching through the frozen crust, rifle at the ready. You shift slightly, adjusting your weight as you walk. The rhythm of marching forces your muscles to warm up, to loosen. Your breathing falls into a steady pattern. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice and easy. That's it. One step and then another, moving toward whatever comes next. The morning light growing stronger with each passing minute. The village of Haltzera looms ahead, a cluster of stone buildings with red tile roofs now partially covered with snow. Smoke rises from a few chimneys. It looks almost peaceful from a distance, like something from a Christmas card. It's hard to believe it's full of Germans trying to kill you. The advance across the open field is the most vulnerable part. 200 yards of exposure with nowhere to hide. Lieutenant Murphy has called in artillery support to suppress any German resistance. But artillery is never precise. The shells land with thunderous impacts, kicking up fountains of snow and dirt around the village perimeter. You move in short rushes. 5 men go forward while others provide covering fire. Then another group moves up, leapfrogging toward the objective. The weight of your gear, rifle, ammunition, grenades, canteen, first aid kit, entrenching tool feels heavier with each step through the knee-deep snow. Halfway across, the Germans open up with machine gun fire. The distinctive rattle of the MG-42, Hitler's buzzsaw the men call it, cuts through the air. Bullets snap overhead and kick up snow around your feet. You dive forward, pressing yourself into a shallow depression in the ground. Contact front. Someone shouts unnecessarily as if the bullets weren't announcement enough. Next to you, Jenkins is flat on his belly, eyes wide with fear. You've been here before, but this is his first time under direct fire. You can see the panic rising in him. Keep your head down, you tell him. When I say move, we go together. 3 o'clock direction toward that fallen tree. Got it? He nods, not trusting himself to speak. You wait for a pause in the firing, then tap his shoulder. Move. Both of you scramble up and sprint toward the fallen tree trunk about 15 yards away. The machine gun opens up again, but your moving target's now harder to hit. You slide into cover behind the tree just as bullets thunk into the wood. Jenkins is breathing hard, more from fear than exertion. Jesus Christ, he gasps. You're okay, you tell him. Just keep moving forward. That's all you got to do. All along the lane, the company's doing the same dance. Rush, take cover, provide suppressing fire for others, rush again. It's agonizingly slow progress, but it's progress. Murphy is up ahead with the lead element, directing the advance. Even from a distance, you can pick him out not by his size, which is unimpressive, but by how he moves. Deliberate, focused. He points, gestures, and men respond instantly to his commands. Natural leadership. The artillery has done its job. Several buildings at the edge of Holtzfear are damaged, and the German fire is becoming sporadic rather than sustained. You make another rush forward, closing the distance to the first buildings. Urban combat is its own special hell. The village consists of about 30 buildings clustered around a small central square. Each one could hide snipers, machine gun nests, or troops waiting to ambush you. Sleep now. Let yourself sink deeper into that perfect relaxation. Your eyelids are heavy. So heavy it would take too much effort to open them now. Your limbs feel pleasantly weighted, impossible to move even if you wanted to, which you don't. You just want to drift all the way down into deep, restful sleep. That's it. Just let go completely. The day is done. The work is finished. Nothing more required of you now except to rest, to renew, to dream perhaps of different possibilities, different worlds. But for now, just sleep deep and peaceful, easy and calm. Sleep now. Sleep well. Drifting deeper with each breath down and down into perfect, complete rest.